So in the past week, since the Tyson Fury versus Oleksander Usyk fight, we've seen a lot of known boxing frauds and scumbags start to creep their heads out and come crawling out of the woodwork. So one of those, for example, would be Mr. David Haye. So Mr. David Haye has been talking a lot. He's really been playing up the Schadenfreude and he's been loving the fact that Tyson Fury got beat. Same with other scumbags, not necessarily a boxing guy, but people like True Geordie gloating in Tyson Fury's defeat. Now again, in the last video, I tried to make the case that, okay, he got beat, but it really wasn't a battering the way people went on about it. I mean, it's heavyweight boxing, it happens. And again, I just want to stress the point. People are upset that he was disrespectful to Usyk and he called him a dosser and he called him a middleweight and a rabbit, blah, blah, blah. But what did you expect the guy to say? He's not exactly going to come out and say, yeah, he's going to beat me. He's too slick for me. His left hand is too good. Because if he did, people would slate him and say he's finished. He's like Joshua. He's got no confidence left, etc., etc. In regards to the other thing about him messing Usyk about for 2 years, I agree. That was very frustrating. And I was one of the people who was just so angry at the time that Tyson wouldn't fight him. Because I thought 2 years ago, Tyson would have beat him comfortably, in my opinion. So I was annoyed about that and I was frustrated just like everybody else was. But ultimately, we got the fight. It's not like he did a Floyd Mayweather and waited 5 years to fight Manny Pacquiao and we got a boring fight, points decision with hardly any punches thrown. No, he eventually fought him and we got a good fight. And the right man won. But anyway, I digress. So, in terms of a rematch, if they do a rematch with Tyson, which Tyson Fury has said he wants to apparently, and they're aiming for October, whether Usyk will agree to do a rematch or whether he'll retire is another thing completely. But if they do a rematch, Tyson Fury is the one who could make more possible adaptations. He's the one who can change things up and potentially swing things in his favor. Having said that, Oleksander Usyk is 100% the favorite now. He's definitely the favorite. He knows he can hurt Fury. Fury's not getting younger. His chin's not getting any better. And it could be a much wider result for Usyk. And potentially he could stop Fury this time. So I'm just going to make that caveat. In my opinion, that would be the more likely scenario. That Usyk could actually stop Fury. But anyway, let's look at the flip side of it. So if Fury takes that rematch, there are some things that he can change. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head. They're in no particular order. So number one, I think he has to address certain just boxing fundamentals. Now, Tyson Fury has never been a fundamentals first fighter at all. He's not a textbook fighter. He makes mistakes. He drops his hands. He does things a little bit unorthodox, which has made him exciting in the past or difficult to deal with for opponents. But at the same time, it can start to hinder you. Like if we look at someone like Roy Jones, and I'm not comparing Roy Jones to Fury before anybody comes and slates me in the comments. But look at someone like Roy Jones. Amazing speed. Brilliant. He's a virtuoso performer. But he did things very unorthodox. He was never really a fundamentals first guy. So as his speed started to slow down, other opponents were able to take advantage of him so much more. Whereas if you look at somebody like Bernard Hopkins, he was much more well-versed in the fundamentals of boxing. Jab, right hand, slipping, blocking, etc., balance, etc. He never really had the athletic gifts that Roy Jones had. So that's why Bernard Hopkins, for example, was able to sustain his career so far into old age. Whereas Roy Jones was getting knocked out by the likes of Enzo Maccarinelli and was going life and death with Omar Shika. I'm not sure about that one. You'd have to go and check that. But yeah, that's just the point. So Tyson Fury has never had those kind of fundamentals. So if you saw in the fight with Usyk, Tyson Fury would land a punch or he'd throw a punch and his hand wouldn't come back to his chin and Usyk would land on him. The flurry that Tyson Fury threw in the 9th round, it was like a pitter-patter flurry, a typical one that Fury throws. He threw that flurry and then Oleksander Usyk hit him with a right hook and then a looping left hand that sent Fury sinking into the ropes. But that was again from lack of fundamentals. His hands drop when he punches and he gets caught. And that happens so many times throughout the fight. Fury would throw, Usyk would answer back straight away because Fury's hands weren't at home. Now, I don't know if Fury can change that for a fight, but he can certainly be more vigilant and try to address it. Again, I don't know if it will make a difference because Usyk is quick and he will react and he'll work things out. So that's number one. Number two, I think Fury has got to be much more active with that jab. So again, it comes down to basics. But when Fury throwed the jab against Usyk, it was very hard for Usyk to deal with. Even if it was a flicking jab, it was landing, it was touching Usyk. And you could see Usyk's right eye was getting very red and eventually got a cut above his eye. And I believe that was from jabs. He was just getting his head jabbed off. So it's very important for Fury to keep throwing that jab. And plus, when he's throwing that jab, Usyk wasn't able to do anything. He'd usually shell up and he would not be able to throw punches at the same time. So by throwing that jab, Fury is disrupting Usyk's rhythm. He's not letting him walk forward. He's disrupting his offense. So it's a very potent weapon. And plus, Fury throws that jab so quick. He can double it up very fluidly. And plus, because he's got that long reach, he can throw it from the outside where he's less susceptible to getting hit. So Fury's got to go back to that jab. And when he did throw it, he was boxing beautifully. It was like old school Tyson Fury. So he's definitely got to stick to the jab, boxing basics, get back on it. He can flick it. He can throw it tough, like the Kronk style, but he just needs to throw it. So the third point is clinching. So I hate to say this because I sound like I'm an advocate for Vladimir Klitschko. I'm really not. But Fury in the past has successfully employed tactics where he'll throw a punch such as a jab or a right hand, let's say a 1-2, and then he'll close the distance and clinch his opponent so they can't work. So he didn't really do that against Usyk. Now, I'm not sure whether that was because Usyk was just too quick on his feet or he wouldn't let him. Like, Usyk was very good in the clinch. He didn't allow Fury to clinch much. But when Fury does tie his opponent up, even if his opponent gets out of the clinch, his opponent can't work in that time. Usyk is not going to fight in a clinch. So Tyson Fury needs to employ the clinch a lot more. He needs to throw his shots, and not every time, but when he can, throw his shots, step in, close the distance, and clinch. And then while he's in that clinch, he can try to lean on Usyk, try to put his weight on him, try to wear him out a little bit in a way he wasn't able to in the first fight, because A, Usyk wasn't really letting him, and B, Fury didn't try to make it a rough and dirty fight. So I think he's got to get a little bit rough and dirty in there, Tyson Fury, and try to make it a dogfight where he's a heavyweight and he's showing a lighter man, listen, this is my ring. I'm the heavier man in here. You ain't going to survive. I could be wrong. I honestly could be wrong because he could try to clinch and get caught on the way in. So I'm not sure 100% about that, but I would certainly like to see Fury make it a bit more of a dogfight. You know what they say, on the cobbles, try to muscle Usyk a little bit in the clinch. So another adaptation that Fury can make, this could be a controversial one, is to try and come in a little bit heavier. So when Fury was pushing Usyk back, he started to look like he was physically growing in there and Usyk was getting smaller. When Fury stepped in, it looked like heavyweight against middleweight, honestly. So if Fury comes in a little bit heavier, there'll be a little bit more meat behind his shots. And plus, psychologically, when you're heavier, you have that kind of confidence. I'm the bigger man, and you subconsciously, you might try to hold the center of the ring more. So he weighed in at 262 or 263 for this fight. But to me, he didn't look very muscular or very strong. He definitely did a good job getting the weight off. Like, he looked slim for Tyson Fury. He looked trim, but to me, didn't look very strong. So I think if he put on a little bit of weight, worked in the gym, got a little bit more muscular, and maybe came in at the late 260s, I think that would be a good weight for him. The late 260s, not flabby. We're talking about a little bit more muscular. Similar to Wilder 2. Wilder 2, he came in at 273, but he looked very muscular. He looked very strong. I would like to see a Tyson Fury like that, but maybe a little bit lighter, because obviously he's still facing somebody with good footwork and good speed, so he needs to be able to move a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he should just walk forward like he did in Wilder 2, because obviously Usyk still presents a lot of problems that Wilder was not able to present. But I would like to see him show a bit more of the big man attitude. Now, on the flip side of that, you could say he comes in heavier. He might not be able to get out of the way of Usyk's shots as well. And I fully accept that. But I mean, he's already lost the first fight. Usyk did take some of Fury's best shots. Those uppercuts in round 5, 6, 7. Those shots to the body, shots to the head. He took some of Fury's best shots and he was still able to survive. So maybe Fury just needs to go for broke and be like, you know what? I'm coming to knock him out this time. Maybe he needs to do that in an intelligent way. Not just walk in and just throw haymakers. He needs to do it in an intelligent way. So I think that could be a successful strategy for Tyson Fury. Okay, so another point is Tyson Fury's camp. Now, I like Sugar Hill. I think he did really good work in the camp against Wilder 2. Now, granted, Wilder 2 is not Oleksander Usyk, but he made Tyson look really good against Wilder 2. I like the performance against Dillian Whyte. It was a bit of a mix of the Kronk-style Fury with kind of the quote-unquote old Fury. He was fleet-footed, but at the same time, he had that dominance of a powerful heavyweight. So I quite like that. And I think Sugar Hill is the right man still for the job. Now, John Fury. So John Fury is good in the sense that he won't stand for the bullcrap that will happen in Tyson Fury's camps, i.e. yes men, i.e. hangers-on, i.e. Tyson not training properly. So in that aspect, he's a good thing. But what is not a good thing is that we've seen him slate Sugar Hill before in interviews. He's always critical of the trainers. Ben Davison, he was critical of Sugar Hill. And I think he overpowered Sugar Hill, especially in the corner that night. Like, we could see Sugar Hill was given instructions. Then you hear John Fury, double jab, right hand hook to the body. So we could see he was too dominant for the corner. And Sugar Hill wasn't able to say anything, which is a bad thing, because Sugar Hill's the head trainer. He should be able to overrule John Fury. So in that aspect, John Fury shouldn't be in the corner. In an ideal world, he should be in the camp. But clearly it's not working because he wants too much of it his own way and he's too dominant a figure and it just won't work. So I think John Fury needs to be out of the camp altogether. Maybe Tyson should definitely keep him in an advisory role, ask his opinion, etc. Shouldn't shut him out completely, in my opinion, because John Fury, like I said, won't stand for the bullcrap. But he shouldn't be in the corner. They should do this properly this time. Have Sugar Hill and Andy Lee. Sugar Hill is the main trainer. Andy Lee is his assistant. And that's it. That's how it should be. They've got to get that camp under control. But I think those are the main points. I think Fury can definitely adapt. Like I say, I hope that Fury can make those adaptations and we get an even more competitive fight this time. But I still see Usyk as a heavy favourite and he's going to be super confident going into another fight. Super, super confident. Just another point, just to touch on the showboating aspect. Tyson Fury's always showboated. I've seen people talk about he's showboated too much, he did that. He's always showboated. That's what makes him charismatic in the ring, makes him funny to watch, interesting to watch. Sometimes he does it to kind of get the crowd on his side. Maybe this time he was doing it to G himself up and to make himself confident, because I think we all know that Fury probably wasn't as confident as he usually is for this fight. So maybe he was just doing it to rouse himself a little bit. But I think he should absolutely showboat. He always does it outside the distance anyway. Doesn't do it while he's right in front of the fighter so he can get hit. He's always smart about doing it. So I think that's a nothing point. I like the showboating. It's exciting. But anyway, yeah, those are just my views. Let me know what you guys think and I will catch you on the next one.